Yo, 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 people, what is good? What is good? What is good? We're back in the studio. And you see the jersey, so you know what time it is. We have to put it away for a little while, people. We have to cry and hold our corner and upset and everything. But we're back at it, people. Jamaica U20 men's qualifiers, right? And well, it's actually the championship, it's dubbed, and it's going to be a draw taking place in about 15 minutes. So we're just going to educate everybody on how it's going to go, the format, how we get to the World Cup, how many slots Concacaf get, all of these things. The tournament will be taking place in July, so the draw is taking place today, and yeah, we're going to take a look at a little look back, of course, after the draw at how the team did in the qualifiers and what we think about the squad and what we might need moving forward. But first and foremost, you guys know this is YouTube. So when you're on YouTube, you have to do these things for me. You have to like, share, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. As in a roll in, just make sure to find the like button, locate it, click on it. Yeah, man. Do that for me, please. And thanks. Issa Allen in our building from Shirley. Big up yourself. Issa in the building. Yeah, man. We're there. So, look, we have the draw coming up very shortly. So what we want to do is right away put on the screen everything we need to know about this championship, how the draw formatted, what's the chance of the group, so can even try to see which group we want to get, which group we think we're going to get. Yeah, man, we can do all of those things. So make we go to this. And yeah, as I said, people, just like the video right away. Like the video right away and get it out there. All right, so this is it, people. 9th edition of the Concacaf U20 Championship. Held in Mexico from July 25 to 9th of August. So that is the time frame of this competition right there. You know, why that's important to note, people, we have to know, you know, it's under 20. So if we're getting the players that we want, some players that we might be adding on, you don't want to be adding professionals into the mix. So that time frame of when it starts is important due to when leagues start back up in Europe and around the world, right? So think about that, people. 25th of July to the 9th of August. 12 teams compete in 3 groups of 4 teams, each followed by an 8-team knockout round. So there's going to be, it's not like how the women's championship is about to be, where it's just a straight knockout phase. This is actually 3 groups of 4 teams, right? And then they'll play a knockout phase after that, right? The tournament results determine representatives at the 2027 FIFA U20 World Cup, the 2027 Pan Am Games in Lima, Peru, and the 2028 Summer Olympics in LA. So Concacaf is knocking out every qualification with this championship. So if you do well in this, you get to go to a lot of different things. The 6 highest ranked under 20 teams didn't have to play the qualifiers that just took place. So USA, Mexico, Honduras, Panama, Cuba, Guatemala received buys to this tournament. So they would have had to have been playing friendly games in the windows, getting themselves prepared, while the other ones who qualified and got in, you know, they have that practice, so to speak. 32 teams were drawn into 6 groups to play the single round robin, 6 group winners qualifying. So the 6 group winners are on the right. So Costa Rica, El Salvador, Canada, Haiti, Jamaica, Antigua, and Barbuda. And you see the number in brackets there, that is the CONCACAF ranking of that team at this level. So Jamaica is ranked 12th in CONCACAF in the under 20, right? So basically, as you can see, only the 10th ranked team didn't make it through to this round. Antigua is the team that kind of upset and got into the qualifiers. And then you see on the left, the teams that are the top 6 that didn't have to play the qualifiers. So you have the US, Mexico, Honduras, Panama, Cuba, Guatemala. So basically, that tells you how these groups are going to be formatted. It's going to be 4 pots with 3 teams in each pot, and it's going to go based on the ranking. So pot 1 is going to be USA, Mexico, and Honduras. So you know that those 3 teams cannot be in the same group. Pot 2 is going to be Panama, Cuba, and Guatemala. Same goes for them. And pot 3, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Canada, pot 4, Haiti, Jamaica, Antigua, and Barbuda. Right? So that's basically how it's gonna go. That's basically how it's gonna go. So the 3 groups, how it's gonna go to get to the knockout phase, you have the group winners and the group runners-up, and then of course you'll have the 2 highest ranked 3rd place teams as well. So if Jamaica want to get to the knockout phase, they'll have to at least finish 3rd in their group and have a decent goal difference, goals scored, all these things to get those one of the 2 highest rank in 3rd place, right? The knockout stage, they'll be ranked, and they'll play 1 verse 8, 2 verse 7 through the line, right, to get to through the knockout phase. So that is basically how it's gonna go. And of course, as the draw happens, you'll see this thing filling in, and we can see where the groups pan out and how they pan out. So yeah, that's pretty much how it's going to go. Let me take a look in the chat now, since you should have an understanding of how the draw is going to go, which is going to get started soon here. Let me get it actually on the screen. Big up El Mix in a building. What time the draw start? I can't find it. It starts in 10 minutes now, bam. So 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock in Jamaica. Yeah, it's on Concacaf YouTube. Yep, 12 more minutes. Just I cite it. All right, cool. Yeah. So Concacaf kind of bad mind. So I'm gonna have it on, but obviously I can't really play the sound. I won't even say Concacaf bad mind. Them have them sound and them own them sound. I shouldn't say that. But I can't play the sound through the stream. So what I'm gonna do is just have it on, and yeah, may have better commentary anyway. But yeah, this is gonna be interesting. Very, very interesting. So you guys let me know in the comment section if you understand what I said about how the group's gonna be formatted and how I'm going to select them. I think I want to try to take a crack at what the group might become. And obviously, you might have a group in your mind that you really want to happen, right? So drop those in the comment section, people. Tell me the group you think we're going to get, just like, yo, I just feel like it's going to pan out that way. And tell me the group that if you could handpick, you would select that group for us. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Because I just have a feeling like we're going to get USA. Like we always end up and get USA. So I feel like we're going to get USA or Mexico. I just don't feel like we're going to get the Honduras out of part 1. So this is what I think going to happen. Not what I would do if I could handpick it, right? So I'm going to say USA, Guatemala, and Canada. USA, Guatemala, Canada. That's what I think we're going to get. And if I could handpick it, would I play Antigua, Haiti? Actually, no, Antigua, probably Canada same way. El Salvador, no. Antigua, El Salvador, and well, that can't happen because I'm in the same pots. But if I could hand select from the pots how it's going to be, I would definitely be picking Honduras out of those 3. Mexico, USA, right? I would pick Honduras. I would want some revenge against Cuba. So I would say Cuba, you know. Some might have picked Guatemala there, but I would say Cuba, right? So Honduras, Cuba, and El Salvador. So yeah, for me, if I could hand select the group, I would pick Honduras, Cuba, and El Salvador. Yeah. Chris said Honduras, Guatemala, and Panama. So Chris, that's the 3 you would have pick, or that's the 3 you think we're gonna get? No, but Honduras, Guatemala, and Panama can't be in the same zone. Guatemala and Panama can't be in the same zone, Chris. Because Guatemala and Panama in a part 2 together. So, to that for be. Yes, BM. So it's 3 groups, and the 2 best 3rd place gonna get through to the quarterfinals. So how the slot's gonna break down from the knockout stage. So once Jamaica makes it to the semi-final, so if you win your quarterfinal game, if you make the knockout phase, you're in the 2027 FIFA U20 World Cup, right? The tournament champion and the highest placed team from the Caribbean, Central American, and North American regions will qualify for the 2027 Pan Am Games. So the highest Caribbean finishing team, the highest Central American finishing team, and the North American highest finishing team will qualify for this as well in 2027 in the Pan Am Games. And the highest placed team affiliated with the IOC will qualify for the 2028 Olympics. If that team is the United States, then the second highest placed team will qualify. So if USA end up winning the tournament, if Jamaica are in the finals against them, they will also go to the Olympics. So a lot of different competitions to qualify for. But the main one I'll be worried about is getting to that knockout stage and winning a quarterfinal match, so we can make it to this World Cup. So them showing you the tiebreakers, points, then goal difference, then goals scored. So which group will you fall in? Group A, Group B, or Group C? You have the quarterfinals breakdown. So it show you who and who will actually get matched up. And they'll show you who qualifies for what. Yeah, man. So that is it. That is it. We're still waiting on the coverage to begin. If you want to watch it live, it's on Concacaf. Oh, Costa Rica. All right, Costa Rica. That makes sense. Because these are the teams right here. And let me see if we can find the article with the pots. Yeah, man. Keep letting me know where you guys want to see the group to be. And also what you would like to, like if you could, so a prediction, so what you think going to happen, and then also a group that you would just like to see. And then let's have it. All right, cool. Thought there was a I don't want to see the regulations. Mexico, Cuba, Costa Rica. That's what we're getting. All right. So Grandma's one said Mexico, Cuba, Costa Rica. That's what we're getting. Big up yourself, Grandma's one. Big up Pastor. What you deal with? We're there, you know. Honduras, Panama, Guatemala. Okay. Honduras, Panama. No, but BM. All right. So you can't get Guatemala and Panama. So how it works is basically split the teams them into threes. So part one is USA, Mexico, Honduras. Part two is Panama, Cuba, Guatemala. Part three is Costa Rica, El Salvador, Canada. And part four is Haiti, Jamaica, Antigua. And only one team from each pot can go in each zone. So BM have to go clean up that one there. Honduras and Panama can be in there, but the third team would have to be from Costa Rica, El Salvador, or Canada. At least this U20 team under Coach Austin look like they can play football. John Wall's team a couple years ago was an eyesore. BM, I know the crazy thing. A lot of the people look at that John Wall team as they should have never took the team from him because he won the 3 games. But it's true what you say still. When you look at the the amount of the obviously the score lines in the games of these qualifiers, some of the brand of football we saw in some of the games, I think it did look better as well than the John Wall team that they took to forget where they were at the time. But that team was struggling to win. I mean, One Love, some ugly football. It wasn't Wall's preferred selection. He was blocked from bringing in better talent by JFF. Yeah, I think what happened, Meeks, was when it got to that qualifiers were over now, and he realized that, boy, we need the help. I don't think he got the let's just call it the backing that he would have wanted in terms of sourcing and getting the players that he had on his radar, I don't think it worked out for him. So yeah. But that doesn't take away from the fact that the team did look bad in the first part, When you look on it, Austin never have no whole heap of people to bring in. It was kind of similar because if I remember correctly, there was like the Horsley McKay youth that was there. And I know Mackay Welsh was there. But other than those two, I think Fabian Reynolds as well. So he had like 3 or 4 that he would have recruited in. And this team that just played the U20, I think it was Marlon was one. And of course they had Kai McLean, who, even though he plays for Inter Miami, I can't say that Kai McLean is like this big overseas recruit. I mean, he is, because he play overseas, but he's kind of been in the system already. So, Marlon would have been the one they brought in. And from what I understand, the other players overseas are born in Jamaica. So I don't know. The football never looked good, Meeks and BM. It looked bad. Well, BM was saying it didn't. Yeah, Austin team does have less. Mackay was the best in that squad. That is true. He was good. All right, so let's start now, people. Yeah, we're going to talk about that because we're definitely going to discuss some players after the draw happened. So let me see how live this thing is. Because when the team them get pulled out, so them have the 3 pot them line off. So why wait? But I don't understand why pot 1 and pot 2 and pot 3 have colors. Like, you're supposed to know who are who in a pot 1. Oh, I think I know. Them probably predetermine where the 3 team, which group the 3 team them are going to still. Yeah, we need captions. People, if you haven't already, please like the video. So, not available. Where the mama? I'm gonna go through the pot them now. Yeah, man, let them know. Big up yourself, Demo. Gardner, Reed, Sache, Seymour, Jamon Lyle, Kimberly Scott, and hopefully Johnson can get added. General Johnson, I'm thinking. Yeah, the first round, then couldn't get them. Bless up, Alex. What go on? There. So the top ranked team, USA, goes into Group A. So then predetermine which group USA, Mexico will be the second one. He might move around the ball them same way, even though the man know what inside it, Boy, I tell you, for a man just pull out the ball, it's like he might practice for the other one them. Group B, Mexico, and of course Group C, the last team in part 1, going to be Honduras. So red, white, and blue egg. Honduras in there. Boom. All right, people. So part 2. So let's see who drop in a part 2. I mean, group A from part 2. Let's see the reveal. So Cuba. So Cuba gone in the group with USA. So Cuba get USA. All right. So my handpicked team out of part 2 was Cuba. So yeah, already I can't get the group when we really want. So much for that theory. Next group in a part 2 is Guatemala. So Guatemala dropping the group with Mexico. So Guatemala dropping the group with Mexico. So we know who the third team is in part 2. That's gonna be Panama. So Panama gets in the group with Honduras. Panama gets in the group with Honduras. Them always battle each other. So far, I still would like to be in Group C if I'm Jamaica. This is part 3. So this is Costa Rica, El Salvador, or Canada. Let's see where they fall. Is Canada with USA? Let's see. El Salvador. So basically, the 2 teams that I wanted in my group are in USA's group. So right now, people, Group A is where I want to land. Come on, play Cuba, I want to play El Salvador. Yeah. Costa Rica drops in the group with Mexico. All right, so Mexico, Guatemala, Costa Rica in Group B. Damn. Costa Rica fall into part 3. That's surprising. And of course, we knew Canada would be the team left. So that's also a group that you could look at. Honduras, Panama, Canada. Don't know. Honduras at U20 level is normally perennially. So now this is Jamaica's pot. This man is doing some extra spin for this pot. Why? All right, come on. Who is it? It's not Jamaica, it's Haiti. Haiti. 80 drops in the group with USA, Cuba, El Salvador. Wow. All right. So Franco and them taking on USA. Let's see. Part 4. Is it Jamaica? It's Antigua and Barbuda, people. So Jamaica drop in the group with Honduras. Okay, Jamaica drop in the group with Honduras. Antigua and Barbuda group B. And of course, it's academic. We know what's inside the last one. That's going to be Jamaica. But for formality purposes, they're going to put it on the screen now. And group C is Jamaica. Yeah, so Honduras, Panama, Canada, Jamaica in Group C. So, all right, people, how you feel about that draw? Honduras, Panama, Jamaica. So Group A again, USA, Cuba, El Salvador, Haiti. Group B, Mexico, Guatemala, Costa Rica, Antigua and Barbuda. And Group C, Honduras, Panama, Canada, and Jamaica. All right, so those are the groups, people. Those 3 groups obviously will become a knockout phase of 8. And let's see how fast do they update this. Still nothing yet, but we know what they are. I should just edit it myself. No bother. So I want to feel about that. Boy, I mean, look, we looked at it like we didn't want USA or Mexico. We didn't get them, right? Now, in part 2, Panama, probably the best team in part 2. But you can't get everything. So we'll miss out the better teams in a part 1, even though at the U20 level, I would argue that Honduras is pretty much on par with the other 2 ones there. From what I remember and from what I've seen of these group of players from Honduras from U20. Now, is that next cycle, was the U17 as successful? That's something we have to go do some research on, the ones that would have been moving up. But for some reason at this level, Honduras usually very strong. But that being said, you want to not have to play the US or Mexico, especially not Mexico with them hosting as well. So yeah, Honduras, Panama, Canada, Jamaica. Yeah, you were close, Christopher. You were close because you did say, oh, you did say again. Yeah, you did say Costa Rica. But you had the Honduras and the Panama. That is true. Hopefully they can join in the next round. Oh, you talk about Austin will have more. Yeah, him too. Bless up Michael Wagwan. That's the group we want. All right. I know Gardner Johnson, which club are the other players from? So Ballpree said best possible draw. All right. Let me see if I can find a graphic. Concacaf usually will have this right away on them page. So let's see what I go on. Not quite. How about an IG? More than likely. I got it somewhere. Yeah, man. There they already, man. I'm showing what I go on. People, like up the video, like up the video. I don't know, man. That's a decent draw, bro. I mean, if you look on some of the things that you could have get. All right, so this is Group A. United States, Cuba, El Salvador, Haiti. Like, if substitute Jamaica in that group, how you that feel? I mean, part 2 and part 3 teams, I would take them still. Cuba and El Salvador. So, I mean, Haiti could potentially finish second in this group or even first. I mean, yeah, it's a tough to beat USA, we know that. But it's possible. Mexico, Guatemala, Costa Rica, Antigua, and Barbuda. Decent. Honduras, Panama, Canada, Jamaica. So, I mean, we're going to have to get points off of 2 of the 3 teams, basically. And we should be good to go. Can get points off all 3, lovely. I remember, top 4 go to the World Cup. So, really want to scrape through and then have a finish 8th or 7th and then play one of the 2 strongest teams in the competition. If you can finish second in the group, where you kind of get more of a 4-5 matchup or something like that, 3-6, that would have hold you in a better standing. So it's going to be interesting, but that's the group right there, people. What do you think about the group? What do you think about the chances? Do you agree with my take that we're going to have to take points off of 2 out of the 3 of them? Where does feel overall about the group? We've had good results against Canada in recent times. Bring on Canada. Let's try to see something there. May I look through the regulations because I want to see something about the selections. Hold on there. Laws of the game. Competition. Okay. Replacements. No. Eligibility. All right. Player list. That's what I wanted. to find it. It's just a good draw. So I will run through the players. That is true. Tough group, can do it. Tough draw. We're lucky. Last World Cup qualifier, Cuba beat Honduras and qualified for the World Cup. Yes, they did. They did. They did. That Cuba team, though, I just think they struck gold with some of the players, and I think they just, as a team, I don't know, man. They you could see the improvement from the U17 because a lot of that team played U17 together, where they came close, and then they just built and built and built and came to that. Up, 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 up. Fix up the microphone to have guests on. Guests can come on, man. Canada coming hard for the U17 miss against us. Man, I tell you, I'm sure no say them coach they talk about that to them players. Jamaica just knocked out our U17 boys. We say we need some luck. Panama and Canada can be taken, plus it's 2 teams going through. Yeah, 2 and potentially 3. Only easier group could I get is El Salvador, Guatemala, and the same Honduras. Yeah, that was what I had tried to handpick. But I mean, it is what it is. But I think, look, we got a good draw, man. Of the 3 teams in part 1, we got the best one. Of the 3 teams in part 2, I would argue we got the worst one. But like I say, you can't get everything. Part 3, I would not want Costa Rica. So the ones we never get them, I was cool. You know, Canada, I mean, they look really good in the qualifiers, but they weren't, to be fair, they were not tested by any of the teams in their group. A while now, when I catch one of the reasoning time. Yeah, man, big up Gigs. Gigs always there for the EPL show them. Bless up JB, where you deal it, bro? Hope all is well, and I know you travel. Jamaica is the only country team that does not improve team quality. Therefore, it is always wishful thinking at best, no matter who we play. Well, I think the coach now is wanting to improve the team. The problem is, at this age group, there are some factors that are very important that I don't believe the JFF have a full handle on, right? And we're talking about most of the games or the competitions when it comes on to qualifying, and even the competitions themselves, like the FIFA World Cup for U20 and the underage World Cups, they are not particularly, or not usually, I should say, inside a FIFA window. And so the way that you ensure that you can get these professional players, I think a good starting point for that to happen is if you have some kind of long-standing positive communication and relationship with the respective clubs of these professionals. And I think that's where we end up falling short, and it makes it extremely difficult to near impossible to get the players when we want them, because those lines of communication have not been established and cultivated, and you haven't built up the type of rapport that would be needed to ensure that you get these players. I mean, Jeremy Lee said, I think that Panama will win this group. All right. It's going to be interesting to see who we think will win the groups. Panama, yeah, it's definitely possible. They have the quality. Goontown in the building. Panama are serial qualifiers for this tournament. Both them and Canada are favorites. All right. Respect Goontown. Big up yourself. This is male or female? Who is the coach? It's male, and it is Rudolph Austin. Yep. Respect to Goontown and Issa. Let them know if I like up the video as the people are roll in the building. Yeah, man. So, boy, me personally, this group is not terrible, people. It's not terrible. It could be better, yes, but you can't get everything in a draw. And I will take it because, I don't think any of these teams are the type of teams where you just feel like, boy, there's no chance, And I think the organization I saw from Austin and his coaching staff and how the boys apply themselves, and I do think that we'll be able to cause problems for sure. And I think if the additions that we think we're going to get do happen, I think we're gonna be okay. I think we're gonna be competitive. Let me say that. And these are again the reminders of the other groups: United States, Cuba, El Salvador, Haiti, Mexico, Guatemala, Costa Rica, and Antigua and Barbuda, and Honduras, Panama, Canada, and Jamaica. So we can, before we finish off and get into the next topic for the show, we can just do a 2 early predictions for the groups. Let me check this because I feel like I'm probably going to fill it in any minute now. All right, but what I wanted to show you as well, people, I have something else on here that I want to put on the screen, and it is from the regulations of the competition, and I wanted to show you what I was reading up on the player list for the tournament. So that should be nice and large so you can see it. All right, so remember to like the video, people, share as well, and if you're brand new, drop a subscription. All right, so the player list, so the qualifier players list. All right, so that is not what I wanted. I wanted the championship player list. All right, so each participating member association in the championship shall provide CONCACAF with a provisional list of a minimum 21 players and up to 60 players no later than 30 days prior to the start of the opening match. All right, which for the avoidance of doubt, CONCACAF shall provide further specifics via circular players may be added or removed from the provisional list before the final list deadline, right? So there's a provisional list that is due to CONCACAF no later than 30 days prior to the start of the opening match. And that list can have anywhere from 21 to 60 players on it, right? And have to go through commit, which is, how they know when it's given, and international passport, everything needs to be submitted as well. All right, so then the championship now, moving on to the finalists now. So they have to submit it up to 21 players, 3 of them must be keepers, and no more than 18 field players, no later than 10 days prior to the opening match. All right, and we kind of know when the opening match gonna be. I think. Let me see. Did I already have the matches there? No. All right, so we don't have the matches just yet. We know that the tournament starts the 25th, so I would think it's going to be either 25th or 26th for the opening match for our group. So yeah, somewhere around the middle of July there, the 15th, 14th, they'll have to be submitting. So that's something I want you guys to keep in mind. It's May now, we have June, we have July. So it's not much time really for them to be finalizing. It's a 30-day time frame before the opening match. So that means the provisional will have to be in, end of June, right? And then that final listing has to come no later than 10 days prior to the opening match. Now, the players on that list must be chosen from the provisionals. So any players that Austin and his staff have in mind, they need to make sure them submitting it, right? And it's also saying that when they submit the provisional list, right, they have to have the passport in there as well. So I don't know how that might affect whatever listing we'll have, but I would hope that any players we're looking at to be added, that stuff started a long time ago. And that's my hope. I don't know that, but that's my hope. All right, so let's just look at how a player could be substituted or replaced. Player listed on the final list may only be replaced during the competition in the event of serious injury or medical matter up until 24 hours before the kickoff. All right, boom. So a lot of things you have to go through. Medical note, doctor stamp, player injury report have to be submitted through there. And then, it have to get approved. And then I have to immediately have a replacement there, So They have ways you can get out, but it look like only for crazy, reasons. So we saw in the qualifying round, there was a player that was sent to him, and people were wondering why they don't replace them. Well, you can only replace players that have injury issues, and it has to be approved by a doctor that him can't play no more, and then he can replace them. So any kind of off the field thing or disciplinary thing, there is no space to put somebody else. Yeah, so I just wanted to tell you guys when the squad will have to be submitted, when the players have to go in, so that you guys know, all right, boom. Concacaf get the list this day. So a lot of people, whenever squads coming out, them always asking, hey, Guna, when when is the squad gonna be out? So I can tell you people, the game them are gonna take place 25th, 26th, somewhere around that time. So yeah, exactly. Provisional list in that time, and then 10 days prior to them dates in July, you're gonna hear that. Boom. Are the women's regulations? Really? Let me see. CONCACAF. Really? CONCACAF Under 20 Championship. But it not really specify the gender upon it. But I was in the men's U20 section when I clicked on this. So I don't know. Hmm. I look at it still, it not really say. Um, it's one or the other still, but I'm not sure. But I clicked on Under 20 Championship, and that's where it was from. So I don't know. Regulation. Yeah, man, I did some click on. Yes, it's supposedly for the guys. Guys, and it's on the side with the men's competitions. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know, my G. Hope we don't call camp a week before tournament. Why? Yeah, take what you get. Not true. Panama youth level in CONCACAF is growing significantly. They have always been good though, but it has gotten better. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, July, yeah, 16, 17, 15, 16, really, because I think the first game gonna be like 25th, 26th, that around that time there. Twice a reader. Yeah, it's not that serious, that's true. But I mean, based on I clicked on the U20 men, scroll down competition regulation and click so, unless them just put the wrong file with that, which is possible. Respect for the super sticker, Jeremy Lee. Big up yourself, my G. We say, yeah, work off of the JFF time. I usually Friday them do them thing. We have good teams, good coach, need some camps though. Yeah. Well, the hope is Austin having playoff to play with Portmore. And then hopefully from that point, it's just all guns blazing in terms of all guns blazing in terms of like the U20, you know? And obviously, the hope is that him not just wait until then, but at the same time, you have to be honest. Like, if you mean the playoffs now, you might put a lot of time towards that. The team has all the ingredients to qualify. Only JFF and their incompetence can stop them. All right. So what I want to do, people, is we're gonna look back at the Concacaf Under-20 qualifiers and just take a look at the games, right, and see who and who was playing. Just remind ourselves of what was going on there. Regulations. So did they not have it on this? Was it the Under-20 that they made fight out? But I want to see the scores them. All right, hold on. I forgot to do it that way. I thought it was there, but I think that was the Under-17 that they did that for. Yeah, they don't have it there either. All right, hold on. Let me do this then. I'm trying to find the best way to make this work. Competitions, Under-20 qualifiers. We can't click on it. All right, you know what? Best thing for do, could just go to the starting lineup from that game. Media galleries. Media releases. All right, I'm going to look on Jamaica versus Puerto Rico. And what we can do is just look on the squad that we had in the qualifiers. And we'll just have the discussion. Yeah, man, smash up the like button. Just know, say, for qualified, the other teams were still the better team. The good thing is the JPL season will be over and Aston can fully focus. Yep, same thing we just say. Have a good team. A few additions to that depth can definitely help, but don't be surprised if some how JFF rig it up. By the way, Jason, congratulations on getting the Champions League final. I can't call Arsenal chokers anymore. Yeah, man, big win, man. Big win. Some people are going to frown upon the whole we win and all of this. I could care zero. We're in the final, people have a chance. That's it. All right, so this is a reminder of the players that were in the qualifiers, right? So let's get this on the screen and we can look at the players. So this was the starting lineup in the final game of the qualifiers, and it was against Puerto Rico. And the starting lineup was Joshua Grant in goal, playing at FC Naples. So Joshua Grant, also kept for the U17 before. Marlon van der Vetteren, he came in from FC Eindhoven in the Eerste Divisie, so that's the second division over in the Netherlands. First team football as well. Earl Dennis, Mount Pleasant Football Academy. He started at centre back, partnering what Concacaf has as a forward, probably because it was submitted that way by Jamaica and Comet, if I had to guess. But Kai McLean, maybe he'll be a defender in the next one. We'll see. Inter Miami CF, he's a centre back. Owen Jump was the captain in this team. He's a central midfielder, defensive central midfielder. Owen Jump from Mount Pleasant. Jamari Nolan says Toronto FC Academy, but should be updated to Toronto FC 2, and recently made his first team debut in the Canadian Championship for Toronto FC. Jamari Nolan, who also was the captain of the U17. Then Jabari Howell, playing very well in the JPL since this competition. He is an attacking midfielder, scored a brilliant free kick in this competition at the qualifiers in the final game as well. Looked to be a very, very good talent in this competition and showing his class in the JPL too, it must be said. Sean Layton also had a good run in the JPL this year, has been on trials lately. I think he's went to QPR, he's gone to Genk now, and looks to have a good future ahead of him as well. Sean Layton, I think he was one of the few players in this competition that started every game. I think there might have been one other one, I think, but yeah, I think he started almost every game, if not all of them. Raekwon Campbell Dennis, midfielder, also made the move, playing more, seeing more minutes and bench time. Not as much as Jamari in the Toronto FC2 team, but from time to time plays with them, still playing the level just below sometimes as well, the U19. So that's Raekwon Campbell Dennis from Toronto FC. We have Brandon Ben playing for Miami FC in the championship, getting decent minutes, but of late he's seen his minutes kind of fall. Claver Nugent, Mount Pleasant, haven't seen him in the JPL. Looked to have been playing more minutes last season than this one, which is kind of strange, but haven't seen him much in the first class football, top flight football with Mount Pleasant. Then we have Janai Stedman, Stets goalkeeper, Maroons FC. Carlisle Tingling saw him get, I think he got a game in the JPL the other day. Mobile United FC. Deshaun Talbert been getting some minutes in the JPL lately. Taylor been scoring goals. I think he had a hat-trick in one of the games as well, JPL. Giovanni Taylor. Dennis getting minutes here and there in the JPL. Berger also getting good minutes in the JPL for Waterhouse. Then Wilberforce playing some in the JPL with Cavalier and Santana Headley. Aurel Miller getting, here and there minutes in the JPL as well for Portmore United, playing for the head coach of the national U20 in the JPL as well. So that was the 21 players that we took to the qualifiers. I remember doing a show after the qualifiers and saying, listen, this team probably going to need some changes moving forward. And I remember getting a lot of pushback from those watching the show on the day. And they weren't so pleased with some of my choices. And look, I just think based on what I know of some of the quality that's out there and that is available to us, I just think that some changes could be made to this team for sure. And let's see. Yeah, here it is right here. I still have the paper where I was putting asterisks by players and, just basically seeing how it all pan out. And yeah, it was a good discussion. And I think, if we're having the honest conversation about it, we can know that, okay, we know that Seymour Reed, more than likely, is going to be a part of this team as a striker, right? So instead of just going crazy and naming out things, let's look at what players in this team that were called would be considered for this number 9 position. So we saw in the games Jamari Nolan playing number 9. We saw Giovanni Taylor play some number 9. And I think in the squad, those were really the only 2 players that we saw play through the middle as forwards. So Nolan and Giovanni Taylor. Now, an argument can be had, do we want to have a third striker in the 18 outfield players? Is that too many? And then you look at, okay, what players then would be alternative players on the forward line? So you have the likes of, Leighton, Nugent, right? Of those 2, just by process of elimination, everyone not gonna follow the team. So I think John Leighton probably is safe just based on how much Rudolph Austin would have used him, right? Nugent kind of wasn't starting at first, then started. Howell was used as a winger in the first game. That didn't pan out. So he ended up playing more central throughout the tournament. So yes, in terms of strikers, I mean, Wilberforce could play there, I thought, but he was used as a left back. So I was a bit confused by Wilberforce's use in the team by Austin. Because I would think if he's in the team, he's an attacking player typically, but he was used as a left back. So, I don't know. Aurel Miller would be the other one, but he doesn't really play out and out number 9. He plays more off one of the flanks. Even though I think his skill set suits more through the middle, he doesn't really play there. So, if Reed is coming in, one of those players would have to be getting dropped, and it's just going to be up to the coach. Then you have the likes of Che Gardner. Che Gardner plays like wing back sometimes. Sometimes he plays, wide off the right or even off the left. So he's another kind of attacking player that could potentially, based on the system you're playing, play like a wide midfielder / wing back. So what player in this team of 21 or the 18 outfield players more specifically would you be looking to change? For me, I would be totally fine if Wilberforce wasn't in the next roster, right? So for me, Wilberforce probably would be the one that I would sacrifice. If you used him as a left back or a wing type of player, we've seen Che employed in a similar role in the first team, right? Or in the league trophy that he might play. Even though I like him more as an attacking player, like a wide player. So it could be Wilberforce for me, or even Dennis for me. I know some people are high on Jamal Dennis. He's been playing Premier League for a good little while, getting minutes, but it's going to be an interesting one. But Che Gardner and Seymour for me are probably locks to get into the team. Now, there's another player who came to camp to try to make the team and ended up having to not go to the qualifiers due to getting an injury. And that is, he's a left back. And I think that makes sense in the sense that, okay, so far I've said Reed for Miller, right? Che Gardner for Jamoy Dennis. And then for me, the next one would have to be Dante Plunkett. We used Wilberforce in the left back role just, I guess, because he's left-footed and he have a decent pace and size or whatever. But he's not really that position. That's not what he plays. So if you have a left back that you saw in the camps leading up to the first qualifiers, and from what I've heard by all accounts, he probably would have been in the team if he was fit enough to go. I would think you'd want him back in the team. So for me, that's Wilberforce there. So that's 3 right away that I would say we'll have names of those coming in. And I think we have found, based on how the game time was going or whatever the situation might be. Now, as far as Seymour Reed is concerned, I tend to think that even though I personally might want Miller to lose his spot for Seymour, it may be that connection between coach and player is a bit too strong. Miller has also been in all these teams with this set of players throughout the age groups. 15, he was with Peart. Also played for Peart at Glenmuir. Plays for Austin at Portmore. So Miller, I don't know if it's strategic what you're up to, but you're doing well in terms of having relationships with the coaches that can make the difference of getting you in the team, right? So I don't know if you are just super strategic with how you go, or you have the greatest luck in the world, but it's just amazing that as you go through the ranks as a player, almost at every level you have that link to the coach. That's impressive. But for me, no disrespect to you personally, boss, but I would definitely be thinking of Seymour in your spot, because I think Giovanni has shown. Because I was thinking first of all that both of you could get dropped, right? But based on the names that I've been hearing that look more likely to be able to get with the team, because I think one of the big things with overseas players that I don't think people realize is the coach has to see these players in and amongst his group at some point. And sometimes it's difficult for those players to get to Jamaica if it's not for the competition, because that's when they can get their tickets booked, and it's basically paid for because they're in the team to go to whatever competition. But when it's just for a pre-tournament camp or anything like that, if there's not sponsorship for that pre-tournament camp that will include player travel, then they would have to figure out a way to get to Jamaica. And sometimes, these players, even though they're professionals, they're not at the level of a Premier League player yet or a whatever player yet. Their income is not at the level where they have that disposable to say, hey, I need to fly out 2 times before this tournament and I need to get to Jamaica and back and blah, blah, blah. And sometimes people I don't think about that part of it. So if the coach needs to see the players, regardless of where they play, because you want them to be able to assimilate with the group. You can't just call them and they never met the players or anything, and they literally meet on the plane ride over to wherever the competition is. I mean, I guess you could do that for one player if you had to, but if it's an influx of 6, 7 players coming in, you would want to have that 5, 6 group with them at least at the last 2 times that they're meeting before they travel, right? And that is the part that there's a breakdown a lot of the times, and I think people just assume that, well, if they're not coming to these camps, they don't really want to play. But that's not really it. Sometimes it is actually financial why they don't make those trips for the pre-tournament, like trainings and camps and all those things, right? It's not always about them just thinking they're above it or anything like that. It's like, yeah, the money might not be sufficient to actually make that trip, and then make other trips that they might need to make. That PSG team is scary good. Yeah, man, they're a good team, man. Football gods will deliver and Arsenal will lose. We'll see, boss. Crazy thing is, Canada went to an own goal difference, even lost to Nicaragua. Plus the fact that we beat Canada at U17 might give us a psychological advantage. Yeah, the boys, I mean, Jamari can tell them, like, listen, we did this, Let's not act as if Canada is this invincible team. Lots of players not playing, Yeah, that is true. That is true. Oh, it was second go around with U20. Yeah, I knew he was on a team. I don't know why I thought it was U17. You're right, though. It was the last U20 he was keeping with John Wall, too. Jump now play, Dennis now play. Yeah, I know. I just said their names. Regarding the JFF, what's new? So are they, I guess they're too old for the Elite Cup, or they play that? I don't think I've seen. No, Jump not playing Elite Cup card. Like Taylor and Romy Henry and them, and they play. They need to send Jump on loan. They need to do something with Jump. Sean Layton is a baller. There's a player who went on trial in Brazil. I don't remember his name. Yeah, he's from the U17. Jamon Lyle. But I think that's one of the names that Ballpree mentioned to add. Gunners, not London forever. He's in the U17. Lyle. Yeah, there you go. No S on the name. Jamon Lyle. That's him, yeah. Can't get out Gio, bro. Gio can forward and stay on the bench. Leighton played there as well. Nolan ain't no real striker, but that's where he was playing. Che Gardner, Nolan, Bell, Smith, Reed, Plunkett, etc. should come in. Yeah, so Nolan, yeah, Jamani Bell was the next name I was gonna say. I believe should be in this team. Jamani Bell for me, easy, can just take Claver's spot. I think if Claver was doing what Gio is doing right now in the league, what Berger is doing in terms of getting minutes, Jabari Howell is doing, I think there's an argument there for him to stay. But the fact that he's kind of fallen off in terms of getting those opportunities at Mount Pleasant proper, and most of the players when they went back to the club, not most, but a lot of the players or some of the players when they went back to the clubs, the Cavalier players, the Mount Pleasant player Jabari Howell, it has been a springboard for their season. Now it hasn't worked out that way for Dennis or Jump or Claver. To a lesser extent, it hasn't worked out that way for Headley or Miller either, right? Even though they've gotten some opportunities, it's not as much as the likes of a Howell. To be fair, Howell and Taylor are the two that I would say are really and truly involved in the starting 11s of their teams. All the other ones I would say are, squad players, depth players, and of course Leighton with Phoenix, Chapelton. Once Seymour comes in, who plays up top? Do you move Nolan to 10? What happens to Howell? Yeah, those are all very, very good questions. Now, some people have said Nolan can function deeper in the midfield as well. I think his best position is just off the striker personally. I don't think his defensive work rate is terrible, but I don't think it's excellent either. So I don't love him when you give him more defensive responsibility. And I think his superpower is really arriving in the box. And he does have a knack of finding the angle for the finish, right? So I don't want to take that out of his game. And I think he's good in the final third, when he's arriving in the final third, even with the ball. He can play that pass, he can, get past people and get off shots. So I wouldn't want to take him out of that. But at the same time, Jabari Howell, that's really his role as well. So it's a tough one. And then you have Raekwon as well. So Raekwon for me can play deeper. I think he has that work rate needed. He's not the biggest player in the world, but I think he makes up for that in just his energy level, his heart, and his intelligence as well. He positions himself well in that midfield, finding pockets of space on the ball and blocking those spaces off the ball. Reed for Nugent, Wilberforce, or Miller. Yeah, so I would say I for that one, I think I went with Reed for Miller, I believe, and then Che for Wilberforce, and then Jamani Bell for Claver Nugent. So that's 3 players. Plunkett, right? He's the next one, the left back. So the left back, no, I said Che for who? Oh, Che for Dennis. Plunkett for Wilberforce, because Wilberforce did play left back. So I can do that. So that's 4. Nick Simmons is not eligible. I believe he's too old. But let me double check, because I know you have to be a 2007, I think. Yeah, I'm born December 2006, so I'm just miss it. No, I mean when Ben didn't play. Yeah, of the two of them, Bent and Wilberforce, I'd be dropping Wilberforce. So if we have Plunkett coming in as a left back, then Wilberforce would be the one I would drop. Kieran Smith, who played in the last U17, is another one that could come in. It's just a matter of are they dropping Bent? Are they keeping Bent in the team? If we get Plunkett, what we do with Berger? Well, Berger was playing, wasn't Berger playing? Berger wasn't really starting though. And Berger wasn't playing left back. Berger wasn't playing left back though. Berger was playing when he came on in the U20, he played midfield. And I think one time he come on and play some right back too. He play a couple different positions, man. Eddie Grant. Who is Eddie Grant? Sherry Swiss. Dante Plunkett. Manchester United. I think he's U19 he's playing now. And some PL2. Yeah, U18, sorry. And he's played some PL2 games too. Yeah, him just miss it, bro. December 17, 2006. We have a lot of left back options. Well, I wouldn't say a lot. Bent can play left back. Really is a winger too. But he's a left back, I think, personally. I don't like him as a winger. I like him more as a left back. I think he defends well and he's very strong, very fit. I mean, he have a good left foot on him. Can whip in the ball him. Decent player. I think Plunkett have a bit more technicality about him game. But Bent have that, rugged. He's one of the names people are just throwing out as an actual prospect for us. Who Mr. Dre say? Oh, Kieran Smith. Well, I mean, he played for us in U17, so I wouldn't say why he wouldn't be an option. Berger did play there in a few of the games, because remember, there's a lot of games he play, so I think it's only one time he play over there though. Remember, it's not the U17 this, where he play every game there, I think he only came on and played there a little bit. And I think when he played, if I'm not mistaken, in the U20 Berger, when he came on and played fullback or defensive, it was right back he came on and played. Because when I time them, remember Marlon did slide from right back to central, and it was Berger playing right back. Oh. Bent, Plunkett, Chet, and Smith. I don't think Austin would be using Chet as a left back per se. He would have been more of a winger type player, or even like could probably even play centrally too. But I would be using him as a winger. He look very tricky on the wing. So really and truly, Ben Plunkett and Kieran Smith, if Smith a forward or them want him. Yeah, and the JFF got to want to select the players too. Think might not want to play at youth level. Something might not want to play. Yeah, well, the Jet players too that some things might not want to play at youth level. Like a murderer. Yeah, man, tricky player, man. None of those made the first squad though. Bent was there, yeah, he was there. Yeah, he's really plays winger more so than anything else for his clubs. Jamaican U20 boys need midfielders and also a number 9. Yeah, he's too old by like a month. That's why I know Berger was brought in to play left back, because we didn't have any. And he never even played left back in the competition. Biggest concern for Jamaica is preparation time, squad upgrade in weak areas, and administrative support. Yeah, I think the administrative support is big time, because like I said, to get players that are doing anything in the professional game right now for this competition in July, that administrative support is going to be needed, and I think they're dropping the ball big time on that. A lot of these the Bells and the Reeds and all of these, that's MLS big time there, getting ready for playoff push and all these things, So you have to have the relationship with them from now and let them know, like, listen, Raekwon get dropped from the 11 when Reed comes in. Yeah, that could be the case. That could be the case, because Nolan would drop back. Would you drop Jabari deeper in the midfield? Is that what you would do with Jabari? Or does Jabari play over Nolan in the 10? Do you think he'd be better than Nolan in the 10 position? That's the question. Well, the U17 World Cup is in November. So, yeah, that's another thing. Nolan could drift out to one of the wider spots. They did that with Howell in the competition. At first, I had him playing like after left in the first game, and he was nowhere near as effective as he ended up being when they moved him central. Yeah, Wilberforce can't make the team. We've already removed him. In my mind, I've added a player for him. Yes, Howell is a player we need to get him out because we can't develop players like him. Yeah, I think I'll be very surprised if Howell play next year in the JPL. Yeah, I know about this kid, I think him born in Jamaica as well. Union Berlin. Forget him name though. Soon tell you him name, people. Mackay Gray. Same name, Mackay Gray. Tall brother, man. 9 goals, 1 assist in M season. 13 appearance. Not bad. Make 1 appearance in the junior DFB Pokal Cup. 1 goal. Mackay Gray. Union Berlin. Him there Union Berlin from 2021 in the youth system. Move up to U17 and move up to U19. But in 2007. So looks to be a big target option. I don't see the kid play. I was looking at his measurables. I'm telling him I watch the Group C of the German regionally at this under 19. No, I never seen him play yet. We have the older guys coming in for this part of the tournament. We don't have to bring Nolan. That's true. That's true. We're acting as if he has to play in this one. But I mean, is Nolan one of the best U20s we have though? Even though he's younger, I don't know. But it's not till November, Issa. So I mean, it's okay. For Headley. Who name Headley? Berger should stay. Oh, Santana Headley. Oh, okay. Brother, that's the position where we don't have people. Where Santana and John play, we don't have the people. I don't know where they are. Yeah, man. Seymour Reed. Yeah, man. Right back. I know you never play left back in this. Genera Johnson. That is who can come on for Headley. Right there, so. Him give a CB cover and him give a center midfield cover. So ball pre say Headley, Miller, Wilberforce, Nugent, and Douglas out. Yes, because Jaheim Douglas, because right now this is 20 names, because Jaheim Douglas wasn't there. So yeah, you're right. So you can take out Douglas too. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players. For Seymour Reed, Chegard, Plunkett, Jamani Bell, and Jamon Lyle. All right. And hopefully Johnson. So If Johnson come in, I'm assuming you're going to take out Headley then. And who? Kamali Scott? Yeah. I wonder how if you can't get nobody to commit from overseas, I would definitely be putting in Scott over some of the local mans that you put as forwards. For sure. Nolan plays with all the guys. MLS bench, he gotta be there. Yeah, I feel like if he is one of your 2 to 3 best center attacking midfielder at that U20 age, I would take him. I wouldn't say me not take him because he go play World Cup later. No man. The man he have enough time in between for go on, before the World Cup. Prefer leave Howell. Yeah, I mean, in the perfect world, you don't have to choose, but boy, you have Howell there, you have Nolan there as 10s. I mean, Jamani Bell can easily forward and play 10 at a high level, but I think he's probably going to play one of the wide areas, whether right or left. But he's tough too. He's playing really well in MLS next. So yeah. Yeah, it's a tough one still. But yo, Mago wait name there. It's a conversation that we're definitely gonna enjoy having as we move through the summer. But I wanted you guys to have an understanding of the timelines and when to expect, these things to be taking place. But again, before we move on from the topic altogether, excuse me, let me just show you guys one more time the group that Jamaica would have fallen into for this competition. And like how we know that there's 3 groups of 4 teams, and the top 2 teams automatically qualify, and then the top 2 third place teams in those groups qualify. But this is, again, the group that Jamaica were drawn into today, a bit earlier on. Honduras, Panama, Canada, and Jamaica. That is the group right there, and should be an interesting one come July. Starts July the 25th, people. July the 25th. So we should be getting a 21 name squad. I would say about a little after maybe July the 15th or so. But that provisional squad does need to be submitted by the end of June. So we'll be keeping our eyes and ears open and see if Concacaf releases that provisional squad or not. Typically, they just release the final squad, but we shall see if we can find a way to get our eyes on the provisional listing. All right, but Group A, as a reminder, USA, Cuba, El Salvador, and Haiti. So Haiti in that group with El Salvador, Cuba, and the United States. Then Group B, we have Mexico, Guatemala, Costa Rica, and the upsetters who got into this group, knocking out a higher ranked team, Antigua and Barbuda. And then we have in Group C again, Honduras, Panama, Canada, and Jamaica. So this is the place to be leading up to that qualifying championship tournament to get all your team news, especially focusing on this group right here with Jamaica. We're gonna do some scouting, try to get some info on the players from Honduras, Panama, and Canada. Panama and Canada won't be as difficult because Canada won't be as difficult because we have some recent games to go by. What we'll have to do is see who Honduras and Panama would have been playing in these times when these other teams were playing, because I'm sure these 6 nations that were qualified, I know for sure USA and Mexico were playing games, but want to try to see if we can get some footage of the other teams, try to get some knowledge of the players that they might have, so that when these rosters come out and we'll tell you guys about the teams, we'll have a little bit of knowledge of how the players play. We can know, all right, if we look out for that boy and that boy, and you see me? All right, so yeah, man, this is the place to be for all the build up and lead up into this. We'll be covering it for sure here at Jason Gooner TV. So look, we have a thumbnail for the show today, and there was more than one topic we want to get to. So we're going to close the chapter on the draw and the U20 conversation for now. respect to those that were taking part in the convo in the comment section. That definitely helps to make the show flow nice and smooth. But what I want to do, people, I'm going to do something that I don't normally do, and I'm going to drop the link in the comment section. Now, if you want to join the show, you don't necessarily have to have your camera on. You don't even have to come on camera. I'm really going to use that link to to just have an audio channel open so that people can talk, right? So if you want to join, just click on that link and I will add your audio. And if you want to be on the camera, that's fine too. But yeah, well, so I work with the audio for now. But the reason why I'm going to open up this is because we're going to have a discussion now on the most recent happenings as far as it relates to the coach of the Reggae Boys. And we got wind yesterday that it's official, something that most of us kind of knew was coming along. And, that day has come where it's official and he has been confirmed as the Reggae Boys coach for the Unity Cup. And we actually got an article from IRFM as early as the 5th on this topic. But, and I was going to actually pull up another article. I was going to read that and then we're just going to react to what we know and kind of try to make sense of the decision in terms of the timeline and the time frame and just shed some light on what's really going on behind the scenes, because I do happen to believe that a part of the reason why we are at this stage we are where it seems like they're struggling to come up with a permanent solution to what's going on. And I think that's mainly because like a lot of things in organizations, not everybody are seeing things the same way, and so it's causing there to be a little bit of difficulty, finalizing something as important as the person to lead us moving forward, right? So we are where we are, and we're just going to have a discussion about it all. So I'm just locating the article that I wanted to show you guys. Let's see. Yeah. All right. So boom. So yeah, we're gonna work with the IRFM article just as a backdrop. So this right here was from May the 5th, right? I think it was Dwight Fraser. So big up to Dwight Fraser, IRFM Sports. And Dwight Fraser said that Speid has been confirmed as the Reggae Boys coach for the 2026 U20 Cup tournament later this month in England. The leadership of the JFF at a meeting on Tuesday upheld the recommendation of the Barry Watson-headed JFF Technical Committee. So that is an interesting part there. The technical committee agreed that the Jamaica technical staff who served at the FIFA Confederation World Cup playoffs in Mexico in March be retained for the tournament ahead of the selection of a long-term coach. Technical staff in Mexico included Miguel Coley, Michael Donaldson, Aaron Lawrence, and Lamar Morgan. Speid was initially appointed as interim coach of the Reggae Boys following the resignation of Coach McLaren when he failed to guide the team to qualify automatically for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. In the meantime, the selection for a long-term coach will now be activated at the end of the Unity Cup tournament, which runs from May 26 to 30 at the Valley in Charlton, southeast London. Jamaica, India, defending champions Nigeria, and Zimbabwe will feature at the 4-team tournament. Zimbabwe and India will contest the opening match, which is not true. It's Zimbabwe and Nigeria, and Jamaica take on India a day later. All right, so it's a typo probably. The winners will meet in the final on May 30, while the losers will contest third place decider in the opening match of the final day double header. So that was from Dwight Fraser. And a couple of things I thought was interesting here. The leadership of the JFF at a meeting on Tuesday upheld the recommendation of the Barry Watson-headed JFF Technical Committee. Now, the JFF Technical Committee is now headed by Barry Watson. And Barry Watson, of course, and that's the committee that used to be headed by current, I guess, what do you call him? Interim head coach still, or head coach? I don't know what to call him, but the current head coach, Rudolph Speid, he used to head this committee. So their committee recommendation was to keep the coaching staff intact due to the suddenness, I guess you could say, of the Unity Cup, which is coming up in a matter of weeks now, right? There also has been some rumblings out there about potential games in the actual FIFA window, which would be taking place from June the 1st to the 9th, I believe is the actual window. And it was rumored at one point that we would be playing against Spain. That has not proven to be, bore any fruit, and in terms of finalizing a game against them. And the other name that we have heard in terms of a country floating around is that that country would be Iran, that we would face in a friendly, a pre-World Cup friendly for them at least. And yeah, so it's looking like, based on what I'm hearing, that that game more than likely would be against Iran and not against Spain. And as of now, it would be just a one game for Jamaica in that window. So yeah. So technical committee headed by Barry Watson recommended to keep the staff for the Unity Cup. There's no mention of any friendly games in June in this article. No mention of any friendly games in June officially from the JFF. But I know that it's something that is being worked on. Teams that are playing at the World Cup, some of them still have not finalized friendlies right before that World Cup would happen. So it's always going to be on the cards pre-World Cup that you could get a game or a few, right? Is this even a clickable link in the comment section? I don't even know. Let me see. Should be. Yo, people, and drop some likes on the video, no, man. I'm go on some. Jaja. Okay, yeah, it is a clickable link. Of course. The fact Antigua got this far shows the Caribbean is getting stronger. Jamaica will get left behind. Bless up, Jagans. Big up yourself, my G. Respect. Is Jamaica and Nigeria the biggest failures apart from Italy? I think contextually, when you look at the group we had, yes. I wouldn't say Nigeria is as big of a failure because I think their road was tougher. Yeah, I would say Jamaica has to be up there, man. It would have to be. Just because of the group we got. Not for no other reason. Yeah, that's why I say Nigeria I would rule out. Italy would say is that way because their pedigree as a nation. But if you look, the writing's been on the wall for Italy. I haven't seen any huge improvement in their youth teams globally. I haven't seen, Italians getting bought around the world for major sums of money. But a handful maybe, and that's something that hasn't been the case with Italy over the years. So, I mean, the proof is there. And, the fact that they missed 2 World Cups prior to this one, at what point do we stop saying it's a failure and it's just what they have become? I mean, we have to start to actually ask that question. So, yeah, from my understanding, this board meeting that took place, I'm going to show you guys kind of the board because the JFF website has not updated everything fully. I mean, somewhat they have, but not all the way. So, from my understanding, this board had 12, right? Now, the current board, there's one less person there, and that's Dennis Strong. Gregory Daly would take that spot as a board member, but a non-voting one, right? And to my knowledge, that slot that Gregory Daly would have vacated has not been filled. So all the faces and names here would still be around. Now, from my understanding, there were two people that were not present in the office at the meeting. And for that reason, they were not allowed to vote. So obviously, one of the board members shown here, Rudolph Speid, would obviously not be a part of this meeting or this vote, right? So he wasn't there. So that's 3 of the 11, I believe, or let's call it 10, because Speid would have never voted here. So 3 of the 10, or 2 of the 10, could not vote, and really 9, because one that could vote before is now the Gen Sec who doesn't vote, and that's Daly. So 2 of them not there, so that leaves 7. So apparently it was a split vote, and there was a tie-breaking vote, and a tie-breaking vote, upheld the recommendation of the technical committee to keep in place the coaching staff from the Unity Cup, or not from the Unity Cup, from the Intercontinental Playoffs for the Unity Cup. And that would allow for the search for a long-term coach to commence or continue after the Unity Cup. Again, no mention made of the friendlies, if we get a friendly or a friendly in the June window, and if the staff would continue. I think that probably goes without saying. If they do get friendlies officially in June at any point, I think the staff would just continue as well. There's I don't think by then they would have solved the predicament that they're in terms of finding and getting the long-term coach. So yeah, I would see them doing any friendly game that we might get in June as well. Now, one thing I do want to find out, I don't believe that the technical committee members are where could I find the current technical committee members? Is that something that is posted anywhere? Somebody in the comment section that follow this stuff, let me know. Yeah, but I think a lot of the African teams' talent level growing because they're figuring out more and more that them can use up the diaspora. I mean, look at DR Congo, it's Belgium, France, basically it's the whole team. Nigeria squad value alone is bigger failure. If we should look at it from that point of view. Yeah. I mean, when you look at squad value of the teams in our group that we played against compared to Nigeria's value and the teams they played against, yeah, it's theirs would be a bigger margin, I would think. Some saying Jamaica not making a World Cup. Which are the teams that made it over Jamaica? That Jamaica is a better team than. Well, going into the qualifiers, we thought we were going to be better than Curacao, but that didn't prove to be truth. That proved to be just our brains telling us foolishness. Also, Italy struggles to integrate the more skilled immigrants into their teams. They also don't want to. Yeah. And what's crazy is their youth teams that have done little better than the senior team. When you look through that is pure Africans that have immigrated, through they build their teams. I watched the program and how they're undermining their own development. Yeah. But look who Jamaica had to compete with versus who Nigeria competed against. Yeah. It was Miguel Cole, I would return to Asia. If I was Miguel Cole, I would return to Asia. It's clear JFF doesn't rate him. How can you be assistant to a coach here better than what a joke? I still think we were better than Curacao, says Rob Smith. We weren't better at scoring goals against them. Yeah, That's why we're where we are. If you take the decision to ask about Italy in the light of them now become a team that qualify for World Cup, then you must vehemently try to say what Jamaica is not, has not been, and is not. For real. Yeah, that is true. I mean, if I'm going to say we can't look at Italy like that because they missed the last two World Cups, then we definitely can't look at Jamaica like that because we've missed the last what 40 or 30 years. So that's we've missed the last 7. Yeah, so not quite the same as Italy, who probably made every World Cup before the last 3. Just about. But yeah, board of directors. So we know Chung never vote, we know Daly never vote. Ricketts, Grant, Walker Brown, Bennett, Samuels, Watson, Stevens, and I think the rest of them weren't there. And apparently at one point it was 3-all. Yeah. So we know who would have had the tie-breaking vote more than likely. So you already know how that would have got then. But my thing, like, why would some people not be there knowing that they can't vote? Like, was that a strategic move? You know, I don't know. Sometimes I'd love to talk to the current, one of the current board members. So yo, when I reach out to all the people that watch my channel, make the board know say more have a discussion with one of them. I don't care which one. Whichever one I think is the best one to talk on a program. And just kind of see how the thing really go. You know? Obviously, them can't say everything, I would think. But you know, maybe a little more knowledge of some of the ways how them operate could be helpful. You know, what I think. Bless up one one. Curacao plays as a team. That is true. Big up yourself, phone one. Based on what I have saw, Jamaica might have some bigger name players, but not a better team. And none of the teams that made it. Yeah, we don't play together enough as a team. Our approach to the Trinidad game killed us. But let's not go back there. Yeah. I try to argue with them, Rob, and tell them, like, yo, the way I want to think in these last 2 games going to play out and have it wrong. I'm putting all of the eggs in the Curacao game basket. Why? Why do that? Take them game at a time and try to approach both games with the same mindset. We want 3 points. Look at Curacao and us at the Gold Cup, and it's difficult to understand why we were so sure we would top the group. Exactly. But one, that's the thing. Like, because we are Jamaica fans, we're not allowed to look objectively sometimes at the football and try to like put up the red flags and say, listen, look at how Curacao is playing in the group they're in the Gold Cup. And this is what we're going to have to face. They gave every team in that group problems. Every team. So it was just surprising that people weren't really seeing what was going on. And then when you factor in how we looked in that competition, then it just shows you right there. Yeah, man, the Honduras game, them unlucky. Them draw with Canada. And them draw with El Salvador. That game really mashed them up, you know. They had to win that El Salvador game and not draw. But every performance after that was better. Respect for your super chat, one. £5 on the board. Respect again to Jeremy Lee to drop the $5 on the board in the start of the show. Respect. I think Stevens could be a good interview to see where his mindset based on what I saw him doing with the youth team. Yeah, I think when I look at these pictures of these people, I'm thinking, okay, which one of them, first of all, would be willing to take an interview, and which one of them might have a progressive mind frame. And Stevens would have to be the one because he's one of the newer people in the actual structure of the JFF. We know that he had his time spent playing football overseas. He's married to somebody that is not a Jamaican by birth, so he must have a slightly more different perspective on things. Well, no must, but I mean, it says something that he found love outside of what traditionally Jamaican men find love, with a Jamaican woman, right? Obviously that would have been by, maybe it's not by choice, maybe it was just where he was at the time. But regardless, Errol Stevens is the newest face in this mix. So I think he would be a good person to talk to about the future. So I agree with you actually. Mhm. Jason, from 2017, I knew Curacao would be a problem for Jamaica. Remember when they beat us 1-0 in the last edition of the Caribbean Cup? Also, they drew 1-0 with us in the Gold Cup. Yeah, and BM, that was why before that group was made, I was saying, okay, you guys saying it's soup and it's this and it's that. But the first team alone goes to the World Cup. And furthermore, if you look at the historic data, I know that's not everything, but if you look at the historic data with Curacao and Jamaica, it's always close. And by all accounts, Curaçao's team now is much more organized in terms of how they recruit, and they get better quality players now than when we used to have trouble getting results against them back, the last time we've played them. So, I mean, all those factors, it lends itself to thinking that it's going to be tougher than we think, you know? Yeah, so him say Errol too. This brother Grant been around a long time. I mean, he's a vice president. So what's his story? Northeastern region chairman. The players we had on the field should have taken care of business. Yeah, regardless of this, all we have say is the people them that just so shocked, and how we even let this happen. Like we weren't perennially better than Curacao. It was like one draw, one win, one loss or something. It was like even. We have so much potential to be a force in world football. Cannot keep doing similar things and expect completely different results. No, we can't. And that's one of the things that I'll say about what's going on is like how we have this setup here. And I mean, people say it's a financial reason why we're probably doing this now. But then again, if we're searching for a long-term coach, I am of the impression that they're not going to worry about not being able to pay a coach. They know, I think they may realize that, listen, that's going to be one of the most crucial factors to us getting back to a World Cup is the coach. We can't really take chances with that, and um I think the interesting thing is, based on what we've heard from the coaching staff that have made themselves available to the media, right? Whether it's Miguel Coley or it's Rudolph Speed, um, I don't really get the sense that they're really on the same page. I get the sense that Coley in his mind thinks, listen, if I had full control, things might have gone differently. I don't think Speed has any thought of, well, if Coley wasn't around, I would have been able to achieve. I don't think he has that thought. But just based on how I hear him speak about Donaldson, and then I juxtapose that next to how I hear him talk about Coley, if he's trying to hide which one of them he likes more, he's not doing a very good job. And that's Speed, that is. Because he was waxing lyrical about Donaldson. And, while not disparaging Coley, it's just not the same kind of energy and effort when he's talking about Coley as it is when he's talking about Donaldson. So as somebody that is kind of has to read between the lines a lot of these things in Jamaican football, that was me reading between those lines right there. What happened to the marketing team? Well, I don't know. I don't know. I remember when they first came on board, um, they did a really big push in terms of the YouTube space, and you know Conrad was on several shows doing interviews. I remember I spoke to one of the board of directors members of the company on my channel as well. Um, and they made a push to try to be visible in the space, and I think that has kind of died down now. Um, I know that Avery at one point was a part of their team, um, and then moved on to work with the PFJL, and then moved on now to work with the JFF. And I'm just wondering that if a lot of the work that Avery has been doing, um, it is kind of what 876 I thought would be doing. But to be honest, I don't know if their visibility has just gone in the background and they're still doing things. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. So yeah, that's a good question though, first responder. They were quite prevalent for a couple of months or maybe 6 months or so. We would see them coming and telling us what the plans were to get people out to the games. I will say, without them coming to us, we did see where some marketing did help the girls from that first game to the second game, almost triple the attendance, right? So I mean, I wouldn't say that they're not doing any marketing, but if you're asking specifically about 876 Stream, I don't know what happened to them. Do you saw Jamaica play more as a team than Trinidad in any other games? Okay, so geeks are argue. Jason, also in the 2022 World Cup qualifying, Panama barely edged Curacao 2-1 over two legs and got to the round of, the last round where we played them, yeah. So Curacao was never going to be easy. Some Jamaicans are just delusional. Man say if you watch the game, we dominated, even though I think the match draw. They should have, but the gap between our players and others is not big enough to just jump, to just turn up and anyhow and beat them. Our players ain't that good. Exactly. We need tactics. We need preparation for the other team. We need all these factors to really be in sync. I don't think we can just turn up and beat teams. That is so true. We recruit from a place that has multiple football identities. They just play Dutch football. I think that's a point that is actually a good point. Um, what is England's philosophy? I think right now it's changing. I think they're trying to change from a physical, direct approach to a more cerebral, technical one. I think you can see in the players that they're now starting to bring through. The Fodens of the world, the Gibbs Whites of the world, the Palmers of the world, the Nodi Madueke. It's well Madueke to a lesser extent. It's less about the hustle and bustle I get by you and more about the technique, the technical. Rogers, even though he's a big player, Morgan Rogers, he's super technical as a player. So I think they're trying to make a transition right now to a more possessive based philosophy, but it's going to take time. But I think they are getting more and more players that look less like the prototypical English player, if that makes sense. Yeah, man, we need a good coach, man, badly. Okay, cool, 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 cool. No worries. 6,500 is ridiculous for the girls. Why is it so hard for them to get the support? Um, I just don't think the women's game is as it's not looked at how it might be looked at in a lot of other places around the world in Jamaica yet. I think it can happen, it could happen. I think the next step is to get the girls at a level technically where the local fans can appreciate them a bit more, especially like the local league. Because I think a part of why, even though not many of the JPL players are on display when Jamaica plays in the national stadium, if any, at times, I think fans still would be interested because it's just a bigger. I think more eyes are on the men's game. It's just what it is. The women's game just needs to continue to grow. I'm a avid supporter. I follow the girls, reggae girls. I follow women's champions. I follow women's football, right? So, um, I don't need any convincing how good the women's game is. I know, but I just think in Jamaica it's always going to be tough. BM, I think no matter how much reggae boys lose, them still going to want to see them. But 6,500. I would love if the capacity is what 30,000, 35,000. I would love if we could get a 20 in there for the girls one time. Um, but I think what also makes it tough too, BM, is the way how the women's game is set up in Concacaf. All the final big qualifiers are hosted in one central location. And very rarely would Jamaica play the likes of a USA in Jamaica or, I don't know, any other big nation, because the friendly windows, if you're in every competition you're supposed to be in, probably don't exist as much to like get a big game like that in Jamaica. But a lot of factors, but you're right. I mean, 6,500 is sad. They should be able to get at least 10. It's not about tactics. I don't know, PSG are much better than us. Okay, I thought about CL. I thought about that on EPL preview show Friday night. Morgan Rogers is the most overrated player in the world. If Villa get 100 mil for him, they should accept with a mask and a gun. No, Rob. I just think like any other player in world football, bro. If Unai Emery never rests him, eventually he's gonna hit the wall physically. You can see it, bro. The man's physical capabilities are like zero right now because him run down. Bro, every time Villa have a game, I look at the squad because obviously I want to see Bailey starting. And I'm just amazed at every single competition, every single game Morgan Rogers start. Bro, Morgan Rogers play more than any player, any attacking player at least. And every time subs make, Morgan Rogers don't come off. No matter what, no matter how him playing in the game, him not come off. But I your opinion still. If you think him overrated like that, then I mean I can't convince you otherwise. Yeah. But I think he's overrated, brother. I just feel like the man run the man thing, it run down, brother. I mean, he's had spells in this season where he's been unplayable. I just think the man hit a wall in about March there or April really. And it messed him up. But boy, I don't know, man. England don't have a philosophy. Go down division and things being done are completely different. Go to the park and you still see all different things in certain countries. You see the same everywhere. Yeah, that's true, one, and that's why I say it's going to take time because I think the higher level academies are teaching the players with much more of an eye to technique and passing and movement, as opposed to let's get the ball up to this number 9 and let's flick on and knock on and lay off and we'll go from there. But yeah, England is trying, I think, to centralize a philosophy, and I think it's gonna be tough, as you said, one with so much money involved and results being so paramount in the lower leagues. Like, can you really tell a coach from down there, say, hey, we're implementing this triangle system, passing out the back. I want every team in every league to try it out. I don't know if it works in England. Probably would never. Yeah, it's hard for us to recruit and play. Even 10K is still poor. It's a team that went to 2 consecutive World Cups and got to the round of 16 in 2023. Yes, BM, I get that, but some people don't follow women's football like you and I. So all what you said don't mean nothing to them. They must say, brother, it's not hard to reach round of 16 in a women World Cup. That's probably how them think, So it's sad. I mean, I wish there was something we could do to change it. Definitely, and still in England, there's so much long ball and grassroots, too much panic. Players under pressure revert back to what they grew with when pressure is on. He's a 30-second player. 88 minutes of giving the ball away, and boom, a moment of brilliance, and you forget the trash you've been watching. I mean, I wouldn't say that's every attacking player, but that's a lot of them. Some of our players can relax on the ball and play, but when it gets tough, they start panic and revert back to what they were taught, same as the England team. Same as Arteta ball sometimes. But people, I hate that, Jamaica football is in a state where you have to just keep your eyes open and keep on listening to what's going on. I think, again, the key to change is in the constitution, people. It's not that these YouTube shows can't play a part and increase awareness. They can. So don't let anybody tell you what the YouTubers do is for nothing, right? Because I don't think that's the truth. Because I'm sure somebody watched this today might have been triggered with an idea that becomes a conversation, that becomes a change. So you don't know, from the genesis of when you just talking on your show to what ears and eyes take that information, and how that then, snowballs into whatever it becomes. You'd never know. And because I don't really care to get no credit for change or nothing like that, I don't care. So if it's this convo, my convo spark something in somebody's brain, and then it got to the right people, and the right people were able to make those changes, wonderful. But again, you want to make a change in Jamaican football, study the JFF constitution. That is where the key is to changing it, right? You figure out how the pillars are set up, who is in those pillars, who are the influential people in those pillars, who are more than likely to be the delegates from those pillars. These are the things that you need to be finding out if you want to influence the process, right? So I think as we go into this Unity Cup with this coaching staff still intact based on reports, I think one key thing to note is that relationship between the head and the assistant coach, because again, based on utterances that they have made in the public when they're not with each other, I get the sense that they have enough sense to not blow it up and make it a big scene. But I do feel like their trust is probably going to be even more compromised than it was from before. And I don't know how closely they'll be able to work to get it done now. Common goal, we know, as I said, they're both big men. They might just say, listen, whatever is going on with the other things, let's just focus on our job, this right here. And my hope is that they can do that, right? That's probably what they ended up doing in the Interconfed playoffs as well. But let's see what happens at the Unity Cup, right? Let's see what happens in terms of players. We've heard a lot of rumblings that, even though we didn't know who the coach was, the management team of the JFF would have been reaching out to clubs, to players, because it is an non-FIFA window and you need to get that permission for it to happen. It's not as cut and dry as, okay, here's my request for call up for the international window, and the club, as long as the player is medically fit, the club themselves cannot turn down anything. Now, outside of the window, they have the right to turn down anything in terms of representation for the national team. But if that administrative work behind the scenes is being done, as far as the senior team is concerned, then the hope is that they can get the players that they want to get. So it's going to be interesting, this Unity Cup, because like I said, rumblings are going around that the management team is having trouble getting commitments for it. Again, this is just, grapevine stuff, so I wouldn't take this to your grave or anything like that. But it's going to be interesting because, like I said, the utterances made by Coach Speid and Coach Coley in these interviews, we don't know what kind of effect it's going to have on the players, on the selection, and all of these things. So that, for me, is something that we're going to watch really closely as this Unity Cup draws closer. Who are the names in this Unity Cup, and what is the backstory behind names that aren't there? Because I'm hearing a lot of things already that's going down in terms of when people are reaching out to clubs and to players and to agents, right? So we're gonna keep watching the space, people. We're gonna try to bring another reasoning time episode where we can just hold a good reasoning sometime next week, more than likely. Coming up this week, as far as the channel is concerned, we do have EPL weekend coming up again. It's going to be the third to last weekend. So I have all those games to preview. We'll get a Friday night again, finally, to do the preview show. Warning, from now, it's going to be a late one. Gabby has a concert tomorrow that I need to go to after. So yeah, it won't be until late when I forward out with that preview show, but we will be here for sure, people. Don't think it's not happening. We will be here for sure for week 36, where we can do our predictions, and we return, I think on Monday, on Monday evening, to do the review show. But in between, we might have some shows and some info to bring. So look out for any kind of notification. Make sure they're on, the bell notification if you are subscribed. And if you're not subscribed, what the heck you doing? Why not subscribe? I don't understand. But let's see. Let's check the like button and see what I'll go on there. All right, so we need one more to the 50 likes, people. I'm kind of doing me dirty today, but I overstand still. I kind of did out of the loop for a while. So I have to go get back some consistency, and the people then will forward again. And I like up the video big time. So before we cut out, let me just give the chat some attention. So Michael Sadler said, Jason, apart from a coach, we need strong infrastructures, quality fields, quality academies, quality clubs, etc., to produce quality football as well. Michael Sadler, the only pushback I would say to you on that is I don't think we necessarily need the quality fields necessarily. The quality academies, I would tweak that one to say quality instructors at the academies or quality coaches at the academies. Because listen, the infrastructure and those things, it ain't going to be there. But I always go back to Africa. Africa does a very good job of going to their mother nation, right? Whether it's France, whether it's Belgium, whether it's wherever, and saying, you guys have all this power, or not even power, you guys have all this intelligence in this particular field of football. Please help us. So they'll say, okay, we'll send these 5 coaches and they go and train some coaches. Or they'll say, okay, we know each year you want to have this training thing where you identify talent. We'll facilitate everything you need for that, blah, blah, blah. But they go ahead and they work hand in hand with these nations. Jamaica, whether it's pride, whether it's what, I don't know, whether England does mean, we don't really do those things with England, So I just feel like we need to think a little more outside the box. We need to be more, we need to take more chances in terms of reaching out to places and trying to get more relationships, because we won't have the infrastructure, brother. We don't have it. We just don't have it, Sadler. We don't have it. And when we have it and we build it, we let it run down and turn to shit. So there's a lot of things why I think the infrastructure and the fields, yes, that would be amazing. But there are too many nations out there without the infrastructure, without the fields, and they are able to produce talent and ship out talent at a much higher rate and a much better success rate. So until them play stop exists, I will say the emphasis must be somewhere else. It must be on educating the players. It must be on educating the coaches so that they can educate the players to the level they need to be educated. You know what I mean? Definitely, but still at the highest level, a lot of the players have grown with panic rush football before they got in the academies. But still have a tendency to panic under pressure. Yeah. Well, that's why I say, like, some of these players that I see, they have to be born through the academies where they're getting that coaching. You're right. Because if they stay with a neighborhood team and get the grassroots, it's going to be there for sure. Ironically, I think it's because we're too close to the English way of playing to do so. Similar issues we have of the English. No irony that we are a former colony. Okay, so you're saying Jamaica have that same issue because of so many different ways of or thoughts in terms of how to play in the island itself. And England have a similar thing where there's not one standard philosophy. You can produce players without the stuff, but kids need to be taught to understand the game, and they have to be taught the importance of technical work. Yep, technical work. Who will Roy Simpson call? I don't know. If Speid get good results, dog, then we supper. Don't know Errol. Don't even put that. Well, and that's the thing, Errol. Like, as a Jamaica fan, obviously we want good results, but like, what does that mean for the coaches moving forward? Big up Coffee Tea. Yo, no give Coffee Tea a strength, bro. Go check out in channel. Be a dancehall. Madness. Some good reasoning though. Need tough competition from young too. So players don't develop bad habits from playing against players who can't kick a ball straight and thinking the same things work against quality. Yeah. Yeah, man, I hype the video. I never tell people I hype video. I hype the damn video, man. If you're a quality footballer, when asked to play any time of the day, they will produce quality. Yeah, man. That was when Lindy was watching the England select team come over and play Jamaica. Young, but I also played against older kids. I was small. I played at Europe. I was the weakest, so I had to use my brain. Yeah, man. When you're bigger than everybody else, it hurts. It hurts, you know. That's going to take time. For example, structural decline is out of you. I still can't believe they got relegated. Yeah, it's sad, bro. It's sad. I'm a virgin where left Jamaica a long time. How about you was inside? The man said, yo, I can't believe this. I can't actually believe this. How the man get released? I said, brother, years of negligence, but bro, it lead to this. I mean, every year, the last couple of years, them barely make it out. So, they said dancehall too toxic for your brain. Yeah, I mean, we should do a poll one day. What's more toxic, Jamaica football space or the dancehall space? Yeah, I think the technical development it trumps everything. Infrastructure, fields, all of that. Technical development and the emphasis on it. That is the key to developing a footballer. And you have to work on the mental as well. Brain exercises, dealing with adversity, them type of things. Yeah, it was a good point on the England. Yeah, it was a good point he made. Mental development, exactly. Where said close, no. Hard to pick a winner. Jamaica football space or dancehall. Yeah, man, we'll keep asking the question and see what the people them say. What is a more toxic space? So people like that, I go run now. Time to get some food, Big up on yourselves, people. Thanks for the support on the video today. So if you guys are watching on the replay, the first part of the show, about the first hour, little over an hour, was the live draw reaction to the U20, which then led into a conversation, about the current squad of the qualifiers and what players could come in and who would have to be removed and all these things. We didn't really get too in depth in it, but just started a conversation. As we know, we're going to have ample times to come back and revisit this. We learned about the provisional list and the final list when that needs to be submitted, and we got full understanding of how we qualify for the 2027 U20 FIFA World Cup. based on the competition and the guidelines in the competition. Then we moved into the JFF board divided on speed extension. And basically we discussed the JFF board meeting that took place and the decision that came from that, and had a little discussion about, my thoughts on how I see that panning out based on some of the things I've heard from Coach Coley and Coach Speid and their philosophies and how they felt about what happened. Um, I think that both should be diplomatic enough for it to be a situation that they can handle. But again, just the trust is something I worry about with those two, and we'll see. We're gonna see them in action again at the Unity Cup. And the other thing that I mentioned, read the speed topic, was the trouble that the management team is having getting the players to commit to the Unity Cup. I don't know if it's a big problem or if it's just a few, but I do know that there has been some issues with that already, and I am wondering if any of it has to do with some of the things that would have been said in the public space by the coaches themselves. So, yeah, something to watch moving forward, how this Unity Cup team thing looks. And before I head out, people, even though this video is not about this, I just want to show you guys one thing. Hold on. First and foremost, give a big congrats to Bunny Shaw. Bunny Shaw, big up your damn self. You've been trying hard to get that WSL trophy the last couple seasons. I think injury was the only reason you didn't get it last year. But congrats to you and kudos to Man City women for winning the WSL title. And also, I want to say congratulations to this team right here for making it to the Champions League final to face PSG. I'm not gonna lie, people. About a month ago, maybe even 6 weeks ago, I've been really down. I've been really down on this team, cussing Arteta, cussing everything, and he made a switch in the Fulham game. We put Skelly in the midfield, and it has literally given Arsenal a new lease on life. Just one more player that takes some chances, get forward with the football, break the line. And it's made all the difference. Gyökeres look better. Everybody look better. The whole team. And yeah, big congrats to Uno. Go and win the damn Premier League now. From JGTV to Arsenal. Yeah, from JGTV to Arsenal. Let's go and get those trophies. Come on my side. But big up people, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks again to Jeremy Lee and Woon Woon for the super chats. And big up to each and every one of you that tuned in. Dropped a like on the video, dropped a subscription, share the content, dropped a comment. Yeah, man, each and every one of you is big part of the reason why we still run out and make content, because we love to talk football and we talk about it all day. But why not do it for a few hours with some others that maybe just don't have access to the convo, right? So people, big up on yourselves and thanks so much for tuning in. I am Jason Gooner. This is Jason Gooner TV, and I'm out on another episode of Reasoning Time. Big up on yourselves, people. Bless.